All right, here's where I want to give weatherbell.com's Joe Bastardi some credit. He warned me, and I'm telling you, months ago, get ready for some doozies of storms. Enter Exhibit A, Hurricane Matthew. Joe Bastardi with me right now. Joseph, what can we expect?
Well, first of all, you're proof that prayers work. I'm glad to see you back up and around. It's good to see your smiling face again.
Thank you, my friend.
But as far as this storm goes, nothing to smile about, Neil. Let me just say that this is going to be the worst hurricane that we've ever recorded in the central Florida area, the Space Coast, specifically Melbourne, Cocoa Beach. You folks there, there's never been a major hurricane hit directly in an area from, let's say, 50 miles south of the Kennedy Space Center to 50 miles further north. In fact, it's so rare up there. Only Hurricane Dora in 1964 has hit St. Augustine from the east. So where this is coming from, very, very rare in there. Now, once you get to Port St. Lucie and on south, West Palm Beach, that's where the railroad tracks for hurricanes begin. But because of the shape of the Florida coast and the fact that they're a little bit further north, this looks to be an unprecedented event, a major hurricane striking from the Atlantic Ocean into that area, which is now the Kennedy Space Center. And I cannot back up the governor more with any stronger words than to say, listen and get the heck out of there, because this is going to be a monster storm, multi-billion-dollar storm. And the center of this is just going to be just to the east, I think, of Port St. Lucie, and then it's going to ride the coast right up over top of the Kennedy Space Center. And you can see the National Hurricane Center, there's nothing to argue or disagree with. They have it go into a Category 4 again by the time it reaches the coast, and indeed that's likely. And that kind of storm, like I said before, in that area of Florida is unprecedented.
Now, the other issue, too, isn't only the type of storm, what category it's in, but how big it is, right? And how fast it is. What does that mean? Can you explain that?
Well, it's going to be a relatively slow-moving storm, and it's going to hug the coast all the way up to Savannah, perhaps even Charleston, before fading eastward out to sea. We don't have to worry about this up in the northeast part of the United States, but from West Palm Beach to Charleston, and perhaps as far north as Wilmington, there's a full-fledged hurricane coming. And the worst of it, what will happen is it'll probably be a Category 2 when it's up near Jacksonville and Savannah, because it does weaken because it's right on land, and then it'll fade back out, but it will expand. What will happen, Neil, is the focused heavy rains right near the center will shift to the west side of the storm, the left side of the storm, as it starts to turn northeastward. So you're going to get torrential rains in those coastal areas from northeast Florida. You're going to get them with the hurricane, but even though the hurricane may be 100 miles away from Charleston, they could pick up 10, 15, 20 inches of rain. So you've got a completely shifting type of storm that's going to be a hurricane all the way, one from the extreme, severe, almost unprecedented event for that small area, not for the state of Florida, because Florida was like a railroad track for major hurricanes in the 1940s, for instance. But the fact is that this is going to be a big challenge over the next 3 or 4 days, and then it's going to meander off the coast. And I wouldn't be surprised if a week from today, something that was Matthew or may still be Matthew is still lurking off the South Atlantic coast.
Holy cow. Joe, thank you for the heads up. And your heads up came months ago. Joe Bastardi, weatherbell.com meteorologist extraordinaire. Or we'll keep an eye on it. This is the one time I hope he is wrong. Very, very wrong.